Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means, the other one is along for the other ride, and the two just decide not to show up. What are we doing here? Noah?
We're holding down the fort again. It's just like we're back in season right now. Hopefully James is able to join us, though, because it's been a while since I've seen that man's face.
Yeah, me too. Kind of misses grumpy little self. I need grumpy elf James in the stream real quick. So hopefully we get that text. Hey, the kid's down. Hey, I can come on. So until then, full squad turned into the duo, but we are here to talk rocks, do cool things, all the stuff. So we'll just run it around, right? Quite a tag team combo. Thank you, Patrick from Rockies Insider. I don't know. It's the off season. We wrapped up the winter meetings last week. I guess what was your kind of the biggest takeaway from the winter meetings last week?
I thought that Juan Soto getting Shohei Ohtani money is crazy, but that was really the biggest headliner. And then there were a bunch of other moves that, I guess you could argue were splash moves. But other than that, I don't know. Juan Soto is obviously the headliner, and here we are almost a week away from Christmas, kind of waiting for the Rockies to do something, but they did something recently, and that's our first segment.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I want to talk about what do you think about Belly as a Dodger and Tucker as a Cubs?
Well, Belly to the Yankees with
I meant Yankee.
Kind of the drama of his wife being Giancarlo Stanton's ex. That's
Could you
awesome.
imagine?
I think that's hilarious.
The storyline writes itself.
Yeah.
Just imagine trying to cover that as a Rockies clubhouse. Like that's got to be weird, right?
Yeah, well, and I was thinking the Red Sox got the Netflix series this past year. Like they should just throw another series just at the Yankees because of this.
Let's cause the drama in the Bronx. That could be a great little reality TV show. I would watch. I hate the Yankees. I don't like Yankees content, but I would watch.
Exactly. I mean, shoot, I'm waiting for the Red Sox documentary to drop. We love baseball.
We love baseball. Yeah, that's great. A lot of movement happening. This offseason has been fun. Since the Juan Soto thing happened, like it's just going down. There's a few more top free agents still yet to sign, so it's going to be exciting to see what happens. Rockies aren't going to do anything. We know that's how it's going to be, but we'll just see how much the West does. Like I think we're all just kind of crossing our fingers that Roki Sasaki does not become a Dodger or a Padre or a Giant, right?
Yeah, well, and unfortunately, it feels like those are the three front runners. So, like, what the heck?
Right. Would you be mad if he went to the Diamondbacks?
I mean, I wouldn't be happy, right? Like, if he's not going to sign with the Rockies, just stay away from the division.
Right. It's us or bust and go away. That's the only way we can be happy over here. Before we get into Jefry Yan, the celebration guru himself, make sure you just kind of follow us, rate, subscribe, share with your mama. We are your mama's favorite podcast that she doesn't know about yet. We're just trying to grow the pod. So if you are listening on Twitter, go find us on the YouTube. Might not be taken away from Twitter once the season starts. We are trying to grow the YouTube because that just allows for more opportunities later. So go follow us on the YouTube, follow us on Spotify, follow us on the Apple Podcast, turn on the automatic downloads. The sponsors love that stuff. So go ahead and do your guys a favor and do that. And then make sure you tune in tomorrow with the fellas Best of the West. K-Dub and Skylar Timmons, both of the Purple Row Persuasion, are going to be covering the best of the West, literally covering the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres, and the Giants and the Rockies, all in about 30 to 45 minutes every single week once the season starts. Debut season episode was last week, so if you haven't tuned in, go tune in that now. Still some good conversation. Like adding those two guys, K-Dub and Skylar through the BSB crew, just upped the intelligence like a million, because adding them with Tyler just helps so much with the BSB intellect. So go tune into those guys. I think that covers it. So please do us a favor and go ahead and just retweet this, share this with your mama, and let's get into Jefry Yan. What can you tell me about Jefry Yan, Mr. Noah?
The dude is a big lefty with a bunch of swag. Like from what I've gathered off of social media, I am so excited, and I want this guy to be on the big league roster as soon as possible. I mean, this guy is really not like any Rocky that we've had in a long time. And I know Kyle Freeland shows a bunch of emotion out there, and Nolan Jones does his fair share as well. But it feels like every year we've had kind of the quiet leadership. But Jefry Yan is a guy that I don't care if the Rockies are up 7, down 7 in the 8th inning or what. This guy is worth flipping on the TV for because he is 100% all the time.
Yes, he is just doing numbers in the Lidom, the Dominican Winter League right now, and it's so much fun. Just the electricity he brings. It is completely out of the Rockies' very button-up collared shirt style to do. So I think that's the biggest surprise I have here. Like I want to see Jordan Beck pimp a home run, and then I want Jefry Yan to come in and get 3 strikeouts in the 9th, and we just all go home just ready to run through a wall for our dudes.
Yeah, and look, I think he might have a chance to like actually carve out a role. Like I don't think this is just some far off signing. The Rockies, in terms of lefties starters, we've got great prospects throughout the system, but lefty bullpen is where we kind of can see some holes in the organization, and we don't know what we're going to get with Lucas Gilbreth. Unfortunately, the health just keeps coming up. So keep your eyes out for Yan. I mean, I'm super excited about this.
And I'm going to be that guy that is going to just halt the car for a second. Jefry Yan is a 28-year-old left-hand pitcher who has only 6 innings above a double-A ball across about 6 years of actually pitching. He was signed by the Angels back in 2014 at 17 years old, pitched 2 years in rookie ball, Dominican Summer League, that kind of stuff. And then injuries kicked in 2016 and 17, didn't pitch. And then he was out of baseball until 2021 when the Miami Marlins found him playing in an old man's baseball league in Arizona, just hanging out, doing his thing. So the Miami Marlins signed him, and then he's been bouncing around. He spent some time in across the seas. I forget which league. I should have had that written down. I think he was in Japan with the Cebu. I'm not even going to try it. The Cebu team, and now he's playing for the Estrellas in the Dominican Winter League, where he's posted a 1.45 ERA last year in 11 innings with the Cebu team, 3.09 ERA, but that was only 11.2 innings pitched. So things are looking really good, right? Looking really good. Numbers wise, and our boy Isaac with the pitch mix, which we needed. Yan throws a mid-90s fastball that routinely hits 96, 97, has whiff potentially with that breaking ball. We don't know if it's a slider or curveball, and a changeup as a third pitch. Really solid potential. If you're getting that from the left side, that's somebody you want in your system.
Yeah, and think about the Amir Garrett versus the Cincinnati Reds kind of ongoing rivalry that happened a couple years ago. I mean,
I missed that.
Amir Garrett switched teams, I think 3 times, and yet every time he played the Reds, it was all the smoke in the world. It was specific. I think it was Javi Baez, actually. So he was on the Reds and beefing with Javi Baez, and it just kept happening for different teams. That is what we might get out of our bullpen, and we are here for it.
We are. Do you think Buddy's allowing that to happen? Do you think front office is allowing that to happen?
I mean,
what are we doing?
They'll just have to see how many clicks that Yan is able to give them on social media, and then they'll decide. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. It's got to be like a movie, right? Like, hey, buddy, I need to sit you down. You might not like what Jan's doing, but this is what the numbers are doing for us as a team. This is his jersey sales right now. He's huge in the Latin area. He's Japanese love him too. We're selling tickets. We're selling jerseys. I'm going to need you to put him in a little bit more and get over it. And Buddy says, yeah, sure. I'll do that. Yep. Right.
That's exactly how it would go.
See, we don't need Netflix. We got your script right there. Do you think he makes the big league squad out of camp?
No, I don't think there's really a realistic chance there. Just because, like you said, he hasn't pitched above Double-A in so long. But I don't know. It all depends on how much the Rockies front office weighs his experience overseas. Like, I don't know how that'll transfer, to be honest. But I just hope that we get a glimpse of him at some point in Rockies pinstripes.
And the good thing about us at BSB, even if he's not in Rockies purple, like we are still watching him when he's a yard goat, when he's an Albuquerque Isotope. So if you don't get your Yan at Coors Field, you will get your Yan at Isotopes Park at the lab. You will get it at Dunkin' Donuts Park with us covering it. And you know he's an electric social media factory. So you will also get those clips as well. I hope so. I mean, let's look at the Rockies roster resource up. The arm barn looks like right now Tyler Kinley as the closer. You got Halverson and Peralta as the 8-7 guys. Vodnik, Chavi, Lawrence, and Gilbreth in the mid rotation. Then Tanner Gordon is slotted as the long reliever. So depending on how well Lucas Gilbreth is recovering from that TJ surgery, you're looking at maybe a Jefry Yan making it. However, you do have the boy Evan Justice, who was hitless in his Arizona Fall League, 18 innings worth of hitless ball on the 40-man roster, who's a lefty, who's electric.
And he's a dog. Yeah.
He's a dog. And so you're going to have this little competition, but it would be hard to imagine a world where we don't see Jefry Yan who in purple at some point, right?
Yeah, I hope so. But ultimately it's performance based, and the way that the bullpen has played kind of up and down, but then ending last season with really encouraging signs and all the young guys, like, you might just have to ride the hot hand for a while. And I think that's what Buddy will do, especially at Coors Field.
Yeah, and especially with all the options they have, you can imagine they're having a little bit of a carousel like they did last year. Yeah, Kris Noroyan, my bad, dog. Evan Justice, my goat. Same. I saw Evan Justice live a few years ago, and it's an electric factory. He's got this little hitch, and it's awesome. Excited to see what Evan Justice can do in 2025. So Jefry Yan, he is making buzz around MLB social media. He's getting all the clips, all the stuff. So electric factory incoming. How long do you think the old heads of Rockies fandom actually put up with this nonsense?
Well, now that depends on how far into the season the Rockies stay competitive for the old head fans to continue, to be tuning in each night.
Fantastic.
I think though, with the direction that baseball is going and the whole campaign that they ran, I think it was 2 years ago that every ad was just let the kids play. And then this past year, they were talking about all the rule changes. Like, this is baseball, but better and faster in every way. Like, if you're an old head, you got to adjust. You're going to get left in the dirt. Like, that's where it's headed right now with how fast everything is changing.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. All right, Nuroyan, Chris Nuroyan. Thanks, dog. Thanks for hanging out. I saw a lot of discourse on the social media. Dorothy Starr is bringing it up to my attention right now on the Twitter. I expect he'll get hurt. Why doesn't he get hurt when he's doing these antics? How has this man not rolled his ankle yet?
Yeah, and his knees his ACLs look like they're going to tear every time he does like this surf move with his knees 2 inches off the ground. I have no idea how he does it, and that makes me like him even more. He's an alien.
He really is. Like, that's the biggest thing I'm worried about. Like, it's going to be debut. He's going to get like the ninth to himself. He's going to strike out Mookie Betts against the Dodgers in a 1-run game. He's going to go up, celebrate, and roll his ankle somehow, some way. That's my biggest fear. Or he just continues doing what he does and just being a rock star. And it's also true.
He kind of feels like when he makes his major league debut, the first 3 pitches might go straight to the backstop. And then, 3-0 count, he'll strike the dude out. Somehow, some way. Bookmark it.
If you're going to have the antics, it's got to play in your favor. 100%. So we're all aboard the Jefry Yan train. Choo-choo, mother... All right, let's move on to the Rule 5 recap. So last week we kind of previewed it. There's not a lot that ever happens in the Rule 5, but our boy Isaac, who was in the YouTube chat, did a nice little write-up over at BlakeStreetBanter.com. Go ahead and check it out. Rockies lost some depth. I believe we gained 2 people, Tyler Birch and Jose Torres, and lost 3 in Jake Snyder, Anderson Bido, and Jack Longren. None of these guys are MLB Rule 5 picks. They're all MILB, so some depth pieces. The one that I could see making an impact on the big league squad is Tyler Birch. Just reading off what Isaac put in there. In the Arizona Fall League, his fastball was routinely around 97, 98. Birch offers a plus breaking ball, has steep shape and spins on this horizontal axis, giving it sweeper-esque movement, which generates plenty of whiffs. So he'll be a nice little experiment, so to speak, in the AAA, adding that extra depth down there. He's a right-hand pitcher with Baltimore. What can you share about one of the players that we lost?
Honestly, shout out to Isaac because his paper is everything that I needed to catch up on everything that happened. But I remember the day of the draft, we were all not surprised, but kind of a little bit disappointed that the Rockies passed on, I believe, number 2 overall pick in
Yep.
that, which was surprising. And then there's plenty of discourse in the BSB group chat about Jake Snyder. The fact that he went to the Padres just feels like he might come out and become a rock. Yeah, he might become a Rocky killer down the road. He's 26, but you hope not. But he was the one that I think the guys that know more than me on the Rule 5 stuff felt like the biggest loss.
Yeah, just his presence. He's that grizzled vet that goes around. He's the guy that puts the young kid under his arm and teaches him the way of the Rockies, so to speak. So he's going to be a big one. I think the biggest talent that we're missing out on is Anderson Bitto, who the Rockies re-signed in the offseason, and then he was literally picked off of the Rule 5 MILB section 2 weeks later after we re-signed him. So Rockies had some belief in him. He was never over AA, had great numbers in AA. They weren't going to protect him as a 40-man just because there's too much gap and there's way too much talent in between him and the pros. But he would have been he will be somebody that makes the major leagues in the next year or two.
And you don't like giving those guys up.
No.
I don't understand the re-sign and then not protecting a player. It's frustrating.
And nobody knows what the rules are to be in the MILB Rule 5 section. Like, nobody knows what the qualifications are. We all know what the MLB rule is, right? You have to be 4 or 5 years down the road, high school, college player, blah, blah, blah. Rule 5, minor league, nobody knows. I don't think the players know they're like in the pool until they possibly hear the name. So that's what's weird about it too. Like, you signed him, but you didn't know if you were going to be able to keep him. But like, I don't know. It's just weird.
We got to ask our next guest that if they know if they're eligible or not.
That's just the opening question for everybody that we ever have on. What do you know about the MILB Rule 5 part of it? How do you know who's available? And nobody's going to know.
No,
nobody's going to know. All right, next topic. It's naughty or nice. Christmas is a week away. We have the advent calendars going. Yes. Everybody's sending their naughty or nice lists. So this was brought to our attention by our boy Brian, co-host, so to speak, MTNV Baseball Fanatic on the Twitter. Thank you for this question. Your Christmas list to Santa of who you want the Rockies to sign or trade for. Obviously, that would be fun, but his better idea, more realistic idea, was the naughty or nice list. Noah, let's start with the naughty list. Who are you putting on the naughty list to start?
Guy that we're going to talk about in our later segment and the one that's on the thumbnail, Kris Bryant and his back. Maybe I'll just put his back on there because I'm sure the guy is a nice guy. But man, like, that was the obvious first overall pick if we're doing a 3-round draft here.
It really is. Why is he on the naughty list though? He seems like a nice guy.
Well, I mean, number one, like, the best trait is the best ability is availability, right?
And we got that right this time. Nice job.
Yes, finally. We're just not getting that with KB, which is disappointing because, every time there's an article that comes out, and I think the most recent one was Patrick Saunders, he says, like, I'm making great progress. Bud Black says he's having a great, it's been rehab assignment in the past, and now he said he's having a great winter. So it always seems to be taking steps forward, and then it just kind of never shows on the field. And I know he's trying to play. Like, there's no professional that doesn't want to play. But, I judge off results. So
and that's fair. And we will get at that into that in a little bit. I want to spend some more time on that KB segment. Is he back? Or is back? Whatever. I liked my pun. I came up with that line. It has so many options. But yes, KB is definitely on Rockies fans' naughty list. That 7-year contract, all that money is kind of kicking our butt. Would we be more mad if Nolan Arenado was still on this team at this point right now? Let's say Nolan was on the team, and for whatever reason, we decided to bring KB on while Nolan was still on the team with that same contract, thinking about all the money that Nolan's making right now on his downfall, not downfall, but like his slide trajectory going down. there's words in there. And then we sign KB to this, and we have these two aging stars. Would Rockies fans be even more upset right now?
I would tend to doubt it just because Nolan Arenado would be like a surefire entering the Hall of Fame wearing a Rockies cap. And now it's just like, we don't know that. If he goes, then what hat is he going to wear? But everyone loves Nolan. The whole Nolan being Nolan thing. Like, I spent the summer there. Maybe a fifth of the jerseys that I saw were Arenado ones, and shoot, at least a half of them were Charlie Blackmon ones. So there's kind of an opening for a new fan favorite to step forward, and if it's not already Brenton Doyle or Ezekiel Tovar, what jerseys will we be seeing at 20th and Blake?
Yeah, Jefry Yan. Bring
Yes.
Jefry Yan.
Yes, run it up.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Nolan being Nolan would outweigh the terrible contracts that they would be, because what is that, like roughly $60 million per
Not
season
good.
for just those two guys if they were still on here? I don't know. It'd be pretty crazy. Yeah, our boy Christian Saez of DNVR, Roki Sasaki. Yeah, it'd be pretty dope.
Ideally.
Yeah, we'd all want it. We'd all want that. The Hall of Fame players do not make that choice. The Hall of Fame makes that decision.
Oh, wow. The hat? I did not know that.
I did not know that either. I thought they got to choose.
That kind of stinks.
Are you sure? I think you're full of it. I don't think you know what you're talking about, Patrick Lyons with the Rockies Insider. I think you're full of it. You know what, Christian? New idea. We just make Sasaki jerseys. And we make it the number one. Make it the number one jersey in Coors Field on ours. He's so arrogant. Patrick Lyons, I'm right. He probably is. He knows.
I've never seen P. Lyons be wrong.
I haven't either. One of these days we will prove him wrong. I had no idea. I did not know how that was happening. My naughty list, I'm taking it a different route. I'm saying the arm barn because they're just nasty. Like, if you're that nasty, you can't be that nice, right? Like,
I love that.
You are throwing 100+ with Seth Halverson. You want Victor Vodnik to close you a game? 99, 100, going right down your throat, down the strike zone, ready to go. Then you just want to switch it up. We got Jaden Hill and Luis Peralta. Like, we can keep going. You want Angel TV in there? We can just throw in an Angel. Like, we got the old head Tyler Kinley holding down the fort. It is just so sick and naughty that this arm barn is so young, ready to go, ready to do their thing. And I just think what they're about to do, I'm huge on the arm barn. If you've been listening, it's just gross what they're going to be able to do. And they would be on Santa's naughty list because they would be making so many players cry. That's all of them.
I completely agree with you, and I'm kind of upset with us that we didn't bring up Luis Peralta earlier when we were talking about our lefties coming out of the pen. But that's another dude. I mean, good luck.
It's so much fun that we have this issue, right? Like, there's going to be trials. There's going to be bumps. It's going to be rough for a little bit for some of them. But there's so much revolving that you can mix and match. And that's where I'm hoping Buddy doesn't wear them all out and finds the right fit and can, like, it's nobody's got the ninth. We all earn the ninth, and we keep revolving to get to the ninth. So we'll see. Yeah. Okay. So Renee doubled down on Patrick being right. So, and I trust Renee way more than I do Patrick. So thank you, Renee. Patrick is correct in the Hall of Fame. You do not get to select your hat if you're the player. The Hall does.
That's wild. And then his further comment down, if it's the Hall of Fame's decision, then yeah, of course he's going to be a Rockies hat or nothing. But if it was up to Arenado with the way things ended, you just don't know.
Right. And that's when I think he gets to choose. Like, no, I'm not. I'm just going to go in without a hat if I decide not to, which is crazy.
The more you know.
Yeah, we learn together, squad. This is why we're a community. That's why we're so great. That's why I love this. We're not great. Our community is great. We love this stuff. Yeah. We got Colin Baumgartner was really exciting as well. He's got good stuff. Our boy Dugan Darnell is ready to go. It's loaded. You got Juan Mejia knocking at the door once he gets that control under the control. Would you have guessed that Seth Halverson would be a jersey in our chat tonight? Somebody's getting wildly interested. Huge fan. Thanks for hanging out with us again tonight, man. Getting a Seth Halverson number 54 jersey. I would love that. That'd be sick.
Hell yeah, that'd be tough.
It has to do with Tampa Bay offering a player $1 million to get in as a Ray. What?
Holy crap! And it was the
It was
Rockies.
Wade Boggs was the guilty party who was offered $1 million by the Rays.
This is crazy.
So the Hall of Fame intervened, and so that teams
Wow.
could. Is there a Ray in the? So is Wade Boggs actually in the Hall of Fame as a Ray? Oh, what?
There's no way if they stepped in. I don't see a way that worked out. But
That's awesome.
huge shout out to Renee and Patrick Lyons, my
Yeah.
buddies from the summer. You guys rock, and you guys are still teaching me now. This is crazy.
So that's why the Hall of Fame has that rule. Yeah. So that's why Renee's more right, Patrick. Renee's more right than you are, and it's okay. we no, both are incredible humans, great writers, great personalities, great intelligence happening there. Thomas Hardy told me. Renee doesn't want to take credit either. I love it. I love it. Thank you for hanging out in the chat.
Feels like
And
we're getting thrown on the naughty list for our ball knowledge tonight.
What do you mean? You don't know the Hall of Fame? I'll turn this off if you're still listening. Sorry. NIL Hall of Fame money, that'd be fun. Boggs has a B for the Boston Red Sox on his black. All right. Who's on your nice list, Noah?
My boy Ryan McMahon. I don't know when that became a joke amongst us. That
I love it.
Yeah, he's my guy, but I gotta throw him up there, number one. I love Luis Peralta, and I'm gonna make it up to him now, mentioning him that since we forgot earlier. And shoot, I mean, you can't go wrong with. I'm trying to think of someone subtle because like everyone's gonna be like Brenton Doyle, Ezekiel Tovar, like, throw him on there.
Freeland.
Yeah. How about Drew Romo? I want him on my nice list because we're putting all the positive energy into him blossoming in 2025.
I think Rockies fans need Drew Romo to blossom, and so solid cookie sugar sprinkling on the Kris Romo cookie there. I like that. I'm on the Drew Romo train there. I love that. I'm putting your mom's favorite player for obvious reasons.
Of course.
It was right there, dog. Hunter Goodman is on the nice list for obvious reasons. Your mama loves him. He's got a great last name. He's a good man. And he hits dongs, man. He hits bombs. He's here. You wanted to play left? Sure. Want to play right? Got you, dog. Catcher? I can do that. I'll come in the first. I'll come in the 10th. He's a good teammate, good guy, solid person, great fiance. Met her once at the Yard Goats game.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like just all around, just good people. So Hunter Goodman is definitely on the nice list. Wild the Innocent, the Nolan Jones comeback, nice list. Dude. Okay, so what does Nolan Jones need to do to get on the nice list in 2025?
I think first off, I think it was Patrick Saunders again with the article about what he went through, like just mentally struggling on the field and then dealing with having a kid, and like it wasn't smooth sailing just to start off with, but like that'd be super stressful. Like it's bigger than a game at that point. And I think just having that stress behind him, like he's already going to be in a much better headspace than he was for all of this season. Credit to him for showing up for his team all season long, especially late in the year after battling with injuries. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, family comes first all the time. But 2025, he's back, he's healthy, he's feeling good. Well, I mean, it all starts with the average for him because he's going to get on base. In fact, Buddy sometimes wants him to swing more because he's so patient up there and takes so many walks when you can hit one 475 feet, like let's swing the bat. So I want another 20 homer season from Nolan Jones. I think he might blow past that. We're going to need you to predict the next 2020 guy for the Rockies because you're really good at that.
You know it. Got you, dog.
But if he can just get the batting average up, and because he's healthy, the stolen bases will naturally come with that. I mean, the dude can fly. I think we are getting set for a big bounce back season from Nolan Jones.
I agree. And the fact that he's open about it and willing to talk about it, huge shout out to Patrick Saunders and Nolan Jones for being able to talk about that and put it together where it can be read and like shared, because that mental stuff it's huge. And speaking as a parent, it is hard. That first year sucks. You have no idea. Everything switches up on you. You aren't getting the sleep that you thought. Your whole routine is surrounded by somebody else's routine, the babies. And as baseball players, I'm sure routine is everything. And you're throwing that into the fire after being the man the year before. Like that's tough. Like there's a lot. I remember I had some of my own little mini breakdowns that it was hard to get up and go perform where I needed to, and it's hard. And so as millions of dollars are being thrown at you, as thousands and tens of thousands of fans are coming to see you play, like there's that extra pressure. So I think letting that out and letting that just be is going to help Nolan Jones a ton. And here's your prediction. I'm going to, because he was really close to the 3-3-3, right? The 2020, because he had with the putouts, he had 19 putouts that year. I want to go 25, 30, 15. 25 homers, 30 stolen bases, 15 putouts. You can mark that right now at 30 minutes, 56 seconds on December 17th. Mark it. Somebody type it in the chat if you're listening, so it's on record. 25, 30, 17 for Nolan Jones.
You upped it. It was 15, and now it's 17 for the putouts.
20. Let's do it.
A historic 20. A
historic 20 putouts, because nobody wants to run on Doyle, so they're going to test on Nolan, and so it's gonna slide to him. He's got the cannon to do it. We're gonna get 20.
The prophecy.
20. Yeah. 30, 25, 20, never been done before, ever. So, boom. Thank you. 20, 25, 30, 17 as of 12, 17, 24. Boom. Thank you, Kris. Thanks for hanging out, big dog. All right. Main topics. We had the thumbnail. Did not expect us to get to 30 minutes before we started doing it. Jeanette, thank you for hanging out and writing that in there as well. KB. So KB's back. I was really proud of myself on that one. So Patrick Saunders article again, Denver Post Rockies. Huge shout out. Thank you for doing the dirty work. Got a chance to talk to KB about his rehab this summer, or this winter. Mike referenced it last week. Is like Kris Bryant's always doing well when we can't see him. Just being facetious, Mike, which is kind of fair, right? Like we don't see him. A few of my takeaways from the article was just where he says, I've been pretty happy with all of it. I feel like players are going to tell the press every offseason, this is the best shape I've ever been in. I'm not going to give you any of that. So going back just to the transparency, the honesty, like, dude man's not happy with not being on the field, like at all, right? Like he's a competitor. He's getting paid millions of dollars. Like he understands all of that. He's a vet. He doesn't want to sit on the sideline and take our money, as many fans are going to want to say that. So him understanding that, him being with his family, him understanding that little yo-yo rope-a-dope that he has to play, and just saying, like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. Like, this is what it is. I'm not feeling the greatest. Not feeling the best I've ever had. But honestly, you're in your 30s. You're never going to feel the same like you did when you're 24. Speaking from experience of that. Again, just kind of going back to the Nolan Jones piece, that mental, like, just getting it out and being honest with it, I think goes a long ways for people, and especially ball players.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I love Mike's quote. He's always doing great when we can't see him.
Right.
That is funny. But I can try to connect it through other sports experiences. When you get hurt doing something, your brain naturally, the next time you go out there and try to do it, your brain's automatically going to be more cautious, thinking, well, we really don't want that to happen again. And then all of a sudden you're going to hurt something else. And whether it's the heel or the back for Kris Bryant, I don't think they're going to say that he can give you lineup flexibility if you put him in a corner outfield spot or first base. I don't think he should. I think he should just play designated hitter. If he can contribute in the lineup, like he's a former MVP. Like, who knows? I do think the power has really left the building with him. I just, with the back, I don't think you can torque hard enough. But if you can hit anywhere close to 300, I think the league-wide batting average this year was all the way down towards 250, which is wild.
Rough. Yeah, it was rough.
So if you can get on base, like, that's what this Rockies team needs, especially if you have guys like Michael Toglia, who instead of Kris Bryant will be playing first base, hitting nukes. Like, get on base and let him drive you home. Yeah,
you don't need KB. Like, KB getting 15, I think would be okay.
That'd be great.
KB getting 20 would be outlandish, and if KB can get 10, like, we're okay with home runs. Yes. Like, that's all we need. We were having the conversation last week about OPS. Like, what would you need KB's OPS to be, and how many games to be played to have a KB's is back kind of feel?
I mean, I was going to say to be worthy of contributing in the lineup each day, like 720, maybe even a bit below that. Like, I mean, I just want some production.
Like, that's really all we need, right? Like, it's just league average OPS, being able to play 100 games, first base, DH. I think we're all happy with that, especially with the young kids ready to go. We understand you have a contract, you have to play. You have to find a spot for KB. I mean, he's here for another 4 years, right? So, like, finding some kind of groove in there to get the 720, I think, is completely okay. And I think, I don't know, like, the injuries last year were some his fault and some, like, Buddy's fault for putting him out in the outfield, and then just freak accidents, like getting hit in the hand. Like, that's not his fault.
I think at one point this year he was hit 3 times in a span of 4 games.
Right. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, you can't. Your body just can't handle that. Your freaking hand bones can't handle that. So Wildly Innocent says KB number is better than the last 2 years of Charlie. Let's look up Charlie Blackmon's stats last year.
I think that he's saying our expectations with 720 OPS, we're putting him there. Charlie Blackmon gave you a 7, 8, 9 pitch at bat at the top of the lineup every single time he went up there. So it reached a point, and with him as a leader, like, even if he wasn't producing, no one was ever going to complain about Charlie Blackmon in the lineup. Like, no, that's my opinion. But
and he gave that veteran leadoff presence. Like, we're gonna tough this out. We're gonna get to it. Charlie's OPS last year was 741. The year before was 803.
Yeah, so we're not even asking for Charlie Blackmon level output.
No, not at all. He had 20 homers, 10 homers per year on average those last 2 years. Again, I think we're okay with that. So I want KB to be back. Another thing from that article was Brian says he's thriving in his sanctuary this offseason, hitting off the tee and swinging at pitches. His dad throws during batting practice. He feels good and pain-free for the first time in a long time, and hitting a baseball is fun again.
Okay.
Just taking it back. Like, sometimes you just have to reset. Go back to your roots. Find love for the game again. You'll be all right.
Well, that's actually really optimistic. For him to just say it's fun again, like, that tells me the mentals are in the best place they've been, maybe since even playing in Colorado. Like, he signed with Colorado pretty late, I'm pretty sure. And so, things never really got set with a good foundation. And shoot, if it's happening entering year 4 of KB, it's better late than never, right? So here we go.
100%. So KB will be fine. He will be our opening day DH.
Probably, I would imagine so.
Let's hope so. Hopefully he's not starting in right field. Then we have other issues.
No.
But yeah, hoping for the best for KB. Never want a man to just be unhappy. And so finding that fun again. Hopefully he's coming back to Coors in 2025, ready to go. And then last but not least, our last topic in the little bubble, we got Goose Gossage just going off the rails. I don't know where Patrick Lyons from Rockies Insider, who is really smart. No, we get dogged on you earlier, but you are really smart. You know your things. Was able to share a clip about Goose Gossage and the Coors Field outfield. So I thought this was a kind of a fun conversation. I disagree with them tremendously. But how do we fix Coors Field? And Goose Gossage says, grow the grass out. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to try to figure out if I can bring this clip up.
Yeah, well, it's honestly, I'm happy that you don't agree with him, because I do. I think one of the biggest problems everyone's going to talk about how the ball flies over the wall, when in reality the Rockies haven't hit that many home runs, and in comparison to other ballparks, like at this point, Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati is just as much. But let's just roll the clip and then we'll analyze.
Oh, I was going to have you talk a little bit longer.
I can keep talking. I don't want to step on your toes here, but I think the problems with Coors Field happen when the ball splits the gap and you've got a league average runner that ends up getting to third instead of 2 because the outfield's so big. Like, they have to have the biggest outfield or else the home runs do become the issue. But because the outfield's so big, the ball just skids away and guys end up with too many bases. Like, some bloop singles too turn into doubles because the outfielders are so freaking far apart.
And I will rebuttal right after Goose Gossage. Can you hear him?
Grow those alleys up out there in that outfield. We could have, you guys, who remembers Vince Coleman? Could fly. He was like a jackrabbit. You could have 4 Vince Colemans in that outfield and you couldn't cover it. You can't control the air, right? Light as hell, the ball flies out. Hello. Seriously. Nick, huh? We got it. And I told him, grow the grass out, no doubt. I resigned shortly thereafter. I said, grow the grass in the outfield out. Cut off those alleys. Larry Walker, all those outfielders, all they did was head for the fences and pick it up when they got to it.
I love his candor. There we go. I get the premise. I understand the premise. I don't like the premise because if you're doing that there, you're taking so much away of what Coors is. Like, it is a hitter's ballpark for that reason. We have players that are being able to be successful because they're taking advantage of Coors outfield being Coors outfield. They know, like, there's a reason Charlie Blackmon has so many triples. Like, there's that little gap over there, hitting the gaps across in left field, right field. Like, it's just part of what Coors is. And if you're taking that away to just be a normal ballpark, like, what's the advantage of playing at Coors at home where you're already struggling away? So, like, play to your strengths. Get at Brenton Doyle, get a crazy athletic Nolan Jones. Like, you have these athletes that can roam out in the outfield to handle that. Where the Yankees come into town, Cody Bellinger's playing center field now. He's not going to be able to do what Brenton Doyle's doing. So we're going to be able to steal hits. We're going to still be able to get extra bases. And I think that's where the home field advantage that is Coors beyond the altitude comes into play. And that's why I disagree with Goose and you.
No, actually, that was a very good counterpoint to the
Thank you.
To the point where you actually swayed me because, I've done research for classes in the past on how the Coors Field and the Coors Field hangover, they all call Coors Field the blessing for the Rockies, but the reality is our road numbers are so poor because visually it is harder to hit a curveball that breaks 12 inches at altitude than one that breaks 16 inches in Miami. And our hitters don't get to adjust to that. So for that reason, that doesn't change if you grow the outfield grass longer. And so if you do build a roster with the fastest center fielder in baseball, that's Brenton Doyle, and a guy like Nolan Jones, best arm in baseball from the outfield, like, the Rockies are kind of building at 2 to 3 positions at least. And you hope Jordan Beck can hold down right field and just stay healthy. I think for a young guy this year, he needs to be healthy to really find a groove. But I think you're exactly right. Like, Coors Field is already going to pose enough of a challenge for you when you go on the road, which is kind of backwards thinking that your home ballpark will make it harder for you on the road, but it does. Science proves it does.
Yeah,
you got to be able to take advantage of the big gaps, and so you've actually swayed me in about a 2-minute span.
Nice. Suck it, Goose. I just beat Goose. And exactly everything you just said. So I think it's the bloopers, it's the bloop singles that shouldn't land because the altitude's keeping it up a little bit higher, just dropping in there, and then all hell breaks loose. Like, those are the innings that just drive Rockies fans nuts. Those are the innings that drive pitchers nuts. Like, seriously, this is the hit. Like, you have 2 outs. It went right over B-Rod's glove. Rolls there, and now we're going another 20, 30 pitches because we couldn't get that one out right there. Right? Yeah. It's wildly innocent. I wish I used to run like Juan Pierre. Like, that would be a dream. And no, I'm not too sure about any team workouts, gatherings right now. Most of the workouts for all the guys will start happening after Christmas, the holidays. I know a lot of them take off a little bit and then slowly get into a groove, and then they start just going all in January, February, right before spring training hits, but not sure of any of those. Yeah, I think that covers our Rockies pod for this week. We will not be around next week. We will not be around the week after. We are taking these 2 weeks off to be with our families, to be with our friends, and just to relax a little bit before the chaos that is 2025, because it's February and real quick, and that's when everything's going to pop up. So we will hit the ground running, ready to go. We are adding one more new show somewhere in there with somebody that you all know, have heard of. I'm not going to drop any more than that, but I am excited for the process that is in works right now. Adding that, we got the new NL Best of the West ready to go once a week once the season starts, bi-weekly until then. They will also be off the next 2 weeks. So we're going to be MIA. We're going to be relaxing for a little bit. Renee, you have a good holiday. Thanks for all of your support all through all of this and taking care of our boy Noah last season in the box there. So keep with us. We are not going anywhere. We'll still be on the Twitter. We might even have an emergency pod if the Rockies sign Rocky Sasaki, because that would be dope. But beyond that, go ahead and share this with your mama. Go ahead and rate, review, listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And if you are on the Twitter, go ahead and follow us on the YouTube. Go ahead and share it and subscribe and all of that. Anything else?
I was just saying James's 2025 resolution is going to be perfect attendance on here.
Yeah. That's not going to make it past January. We need a more realistic goal. Love you, James. Love you, Patrick. Thanks for hanging out. And thank you all. Wild the Innocent. Merry Christmas. Go Rocks. Woo!